be totally honest with you, I don't know if I've ever disliked a weapon set for challenges as much as the launchers in Vanguard. Or, scratch that, I probably have, but the sheer gaming trauma that's occurred over the last week or so here, trying to finish out the Panzerfaust and what we experienced beforehand, well, it's just been something that's pure torture. So I wanted to take some time today and run down the best ways for you to maximize your efficiency, make it as easy as possible, and let you know the best ways to do these launchers, some tips and tricks that I've picked up along my path, so if you're going for atomic camo, that you'll be able to get these completed with relative ease. It's possible the full atomic camo guide is already up on the channel, if not, shortly thereafter this video goes live. I'm on vacation as of when this is published, so I'm not 100% sure on when everything will go live, but we'll do our absolute best here to give you some tips, information, and pointers to make it as painless as possible. Now, not gonna lie, it's probably still gonna hurt, but we'll do our best to numb it a bit for you. As we go along, let me know below, do you have any other tips that you'd like to include here that we didn't? Seriously, this is not a video that's like only my tips are the right ones. These are absolutely a pain in the behind, so if you've got something you think can help out a fellow community member that we didn't quite get around to, drop it down below. If you enjoyed the video and you find it at all insightful, do me a favor, drop a like on the video and maybe share it with somebody that you know that may be struggling with these. If you're new to the channel as well, do be sure to hit the subscribe button for more guides, tutorials, and any and all news and information regarding Vanguard, Warzone, and anything Call of Duty related. We're on the road to 500,000 subscribers here in 2022, so if you're part of that nearly 70% of viewers who are not subscribed, I'd love to have you in the community. And finally, my friends over at G Fuel have bumped up code Espresso to 30% off for the weekend, so if you'd like to try anything out for the first time, get a restock, whatever the case, now's as best a time as any. That said, let's jump into it. Let's start out with some housekeeping things here, because if you're doing launchers, this is absolutely best done if done passively, meaning that if you're ranking up other weapons, you're going for other camos, just have a launcher on your back as your secondary at all times here at this. To have these be your last challenges to go for, that's the only thing you're waiting for on Atomic, that would be complete hell because they're so tedious and dependent upon a little bit of luck that your team will need to go up against people using what you need. So put one on every class and just play and find the needed items naturally. That's my number one tip here that I can say that won't drive you absolutely mad. So do that first and foremost. But talking about individual launchers here, let's talk a little bit about the Bazooka and the Panzerschrek. Now these two kind of lay the framework for what we see with the other two of the Panzerfaust as well as the Mark 11, but with this we end up seeing the pack tactics are your eliminations, surgicals are your 100 enemy kill streaks, equipment, or field upgrades, predatory ambition requires you to get 50 ground streaks or field upgrades destroyed, reptilian requires you to destroy 50 aerial streaks, and deadeye requires you to destroy 3 enemy kill streaks in one game 30 times. As for the eliminations, just go crazy on DOS House or Shipment. Hardcore will probably be your best bet here out of that. And that basically goes for your entire camo grind. Atomic makes things incredibly easy. Surgical, that 100 enemy kill streaks, equipment, and field upgrades. This is something that's pretty easy if you just have Engineer on. And again, you play with just a launcher on your back. Anytime you see that Engineer ping, you can break out your launcher and take it out. And you should be able to do it in relatively no time. The aerial streaks here, whenever you're aiming these up, if you're trying to shoot these down, what I've found best that works in terms of leading your rocket is that distance from your iron sight, the center point, to the outside of the iron sight. Take that distance and then lead it by that much from where you see that aerial streak. Now it's a lot easier whenever you say are going for the recons and counter recons. Whenever they dip down to like a 45-degree angle to circle the map, they slow down quite a bit, so it makes it much easier to line that up than at that point. But by that point also, you got to realize that that's about halfway through the streak's lifespan, so it is something that you have 1, maybe 2 shots at it before it goes away. But thankfully, these are relatively common enough that you will be able to see them, and this was, I think, honestly, the first thing that I completed in this Bazooka and Panzerschrek category. Those 50 aerial streaks do count for your overall 100 kill streaks, equipment, or field upgrades too, so 2 birds with 1 stone here for the most part. Now, that Deadeye challenge of 3 enemy kill streaks in one game 30 times, that's honestly the most tedious one, I think, just because you can't double up on it, or whenever I did them, you can't, and I'm fairly certain they still don't double up. So meaning if you end up getting 6 enemy kill streaks destroyed, it doesn't count for the 2 progress there, so you have to back out and just go in. Again, thankfully with these ones, they're relatively easy. Recons, counter recons, 1 to 2 hits depending on what you're shooting at, and they're common enough that you will be able to get 3 in a game with relative ease. So that's kind of just lobby surfing and playing it a little bit for that. But as for the Panzerfaust, that's what I'm going to move into next. This is truly the weapon, the launcher that I think is the spawn of Satan. This gun, I cannot wait to never think about this again. Elims, field upgrades, and equipment, those were all natural like we just talked about with the Bazooka and the Panzerschrek. Those both on the Panzerfaust as well as then the Mark 11. You can do them in the exact same way as the Bazooka and the Panzerschrek, but the ones that will truly test your sanity in terms of challenges are those long shots and the 3 streaks in one game. Now, to me, what I think is actually kind of the easier challenge here, as crazy as that sounds, but it's just incredibly random, is the 3 streaks in one game. This is more RNG than anything else. It's not really up to you in any capacity unless you decide to feed streaks to the enemy team and hope they have what you're looking for. So far, to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure they fixed the recon and the counter recons counting if you destroy them. They're still insanely hard to hit because the deviation of the rocket path does occur, and also the damage doesn't take it out in one hit for a recon, and I think it's like 2 to 3 for a counter recon or something like that. So you have to weaken it and then get lucky on that trajectory. But what you'll commonly see now is guard dogs and dogs are the things you really want to go after. There are 2 nice parts about this challenge though. Number 1, if you do complete this earlier in the match, you can leave. It will still track even if you back out. So if you get lucky, you get thrown into a game where you're being spawn trapped and streaks are going crazy for the enemy team here, you can just take out those 3 dogs, 3 guard dogs, whatever the case, and once you're confident that you got those 3 streaks, that's something you can back out and not have to deal with it and jump right into the next match. A nice little trick though, the second nice part about this is that you only need that 3rd streak to be with Panzerfaust. So you can take out, say, what I've been doing is 2 UAVs or recons. I've been using the armor-piercing DP-27, taking them out in like 5 to 10 shots max, then waiting for a singular guard dog or dog from the pack to be called in and take them out, and being that it is the 3rd streak, it counts as your 3 streaks in one game. But in doing it that way, I allow myself to get 2 of those 3 credited early on. I can then switch to a weapon like my final sniper that I'm working on, get that ranked up, and get some camo challenges worked on there. But then it still comes down to either feeding streaks or hoping they just annihilate my team and get streaks. Isn't it crazy? That's the one time that I want skill-based matchmaking to rail me, but having done pistols, melees, launchers, and snipers and marksmans all in a row, my elo is finding that hard because my stats have dropped like 0.5 in that time. Who'd ever had on their bingo card me saying my lobbies are too easy to be productive? I think hell may have frozen over. Now the long shots, this is another annoying one here. For Vanguard, I believe, and I say believe because we don't quite know based off an inability to properly ping things, and also because it's very situational because the only way in Vanguard that it tracks is that it's a long shot. So it's hard to verify these. But in Vanguard, it's a 20-meter long shot criteria here for the Panzerfaust. But in Warzone, if you do this and progress it, it actually doesn't need to be a direct impact, but the distance is longer. It's 30 meters in Warzone. So that means that on one hand, it could be easier, but with a stricter target, but on the other, a not so strict target, but perhaps harder to snipe with. And also you have to take into account that there is armor on basically every person if you jump into, say, Plunder, that it may take more than 1 rocket. Right now, what I've been doing and what I've found pretty nice is that in Vanguard Plunder, there are the planes. So you can kind of bait those out and then blow the planes up at a distance, and it will be something that will count here for you if you get the elim, and if you down them, it's just a quick little cleanup that you shoot them again with it. So that's something that you can play around with, but it really comes down to which one you prefer. If I'm entirely honest with you, I think that just doing it in DOS House, even though it is random and kind of RNG to get those direct hits, it saved so much time on my end. For comparison, it took me about 2 hours to get 11 kills in Plunder for long shots, but I got 12 in one game, so you do the math there. Now, that's the Panzerfaust, and one I think that truly was the bane of my existence, but rounding out on a relatively easier note, the Mark 11 to get diamond launchers. Now, these again have your elims as well as your field upgrades and things like that, so we won't reiterate those, but the unique challenges for the Mark 11 are the long shots, doubles, and triple kills. Now, the long shots we just talked about, as with the Panzerfaust in Vanguard, is classified as 20 meters in-game, so that's something that if you play Ship House or DOS House 24/7, Shipment 24/7, both of those end-to-end it counts. Mid-map in DOS House is incredibly easy to do this. Shipment end-to-end from wall to wall really isn't all that bad. You'll see that those spawns will oftentimes happen there where you can watch them, and if you play in hardcore, that makes it incredibly easy. You'll be able to take out enemies with absolute ease. Now the doubles and triple kills, these again are very easy in hardcore, but there's actually a little bit of a trick to them if you cannot get doubles or triples. You can actually swap to your weapon quickly and get only that 2nd or 3rd kill with a launcher, and it'll still register as a double or triple kill. And just like that streak with the Panzerfaust, it seems like this is something that happens a lot of times for challenges this year. So absolutely take advantage of that if you're doing it in, say, core, or if you're just having a rough time trying to get your doubles or triples done. But that said, outside of that, that is how to get diamond launchers kind of in a nutshell. Some things that I've found that really did help out tremendously and expedited the process of some launchers. Not everything will be as clear-cut as that and as easy as possible. A lot of it, again, with those Panzerfaust challenges, those come down to RNG sometimes. So it is something that will be tedious, so jump on them if you have not done so already. and get diamond and finish up atomic. That said, I wanted to expand upon this a little bit further here because we talked about this a little bit in the atomic guide, but again, that was such a long and large video that we really didn't have a ton of time to dedicate solely to that. So I wanted to take some time and help you out with this guide in depth with launchers, but let me know your thoughts down below. Do you guys like these tips? Do you find them at all insightful? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, drop a like on the video, share it with somebody that may need some help here with these launchers if you feel like it, and of course, if you are new to the channel, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Vanguard, Warzone, and anything COD related. We'll keep it to deal with all of it. So if you guys are interested, I'd love to have you in the community. That said, thanks so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.